On.
A pleasant good afternoon. My name is Christopher Jones. Welcome to the first edition of the Campaign Connect. Today, I'm joined by the Vice Presidential candidate of the APNU, Mr. Ganesh Mahipal. And of course, we have some information and update to bring to you as it relates to the activities related to the APNU's campaign across the length and breadth of Guyana. And of course, before we get into those details proper, I want to extend congratulations first to Ganesh Mahipal, a colleague who and I have been serving in the People's National Congress for a number of years. We serve in the National Assembly as members of Parliament. And of course, this time around, Ganesh Mahipal is the vice presidential candidate of a Partnership for National Unity. Ganesh hails from Region 2. And similarly, I myself have ties and connection to that region. I think, subject to correction, Ganesh is from the village of Lima. And yours truly share two villages, Queenstown, Essequibo, and Devonshire Castle. Mr. Mahipal, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chris. Good afternoon, Guyana. And it's good to be here. Let's talk.
All right. So I know the voice. I know you've been at several public meetings that are happening. And I know this evening you're going to be at some. But quickly, let me just share with the viewing public. If you are in Georgetown this afternoon, the public meeting in Georgetown is going to be in Leopold Street. To be precise, it's going to be at Leopold and Cross Street. And that meeting starts at 6 o'clock this afternoon. Amongst some of the speakers that are going to be featured there, including attorney at law, Mr. Ronald Daniels, former Deputy Commissioner of Police, Dr. Paul Williams, Gregory Fraser, yours truly, Philip Drayton will be gracing that platform there in Leopold Street. On the east bank of Demerara, there will be a meeting this afternoon in Agricola, and that was going to be at 2nd Street, Agricola. That meeting as well commenced at 6 o'clock this afternoon, and of course, extending an invitation to all of you to be part of those public meetings. Tomorrow is what we call Super Friday. Tomorrow, essentially, we'll have 3 grand rallies that are going to be happening. The first is going to be happening in Region 10, more specifically in Kokwani. That meeting starts at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Amongst the speaker and the main speaker at that meeting will be the Prime Ministerial candidate of the APNU, Ms. Jorita Fernandez. As well, you will hear from Regional Chairman, Mr. Darren Adams, His Worship the Mayor of Linden, Mr. Sharma Solomon, Deputy Mayor, Mr. Dominic Blair, are going to be amongst the list of speakers, including Mr. Darren Wade, attorney at law, and Mr. Rupert, Mr. Ramsuru will also be featured there. That is the grand meeting is going to be hosted in Kokwani tomorrow, Region 10, and it's going to be had at the basketball court. For those of you on the east bank of Demerara, the grand rally on the east bank is going to be had tomorrow, and this is going to be had in the village of Mocha Arcadia. That starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then for those in Georgetown, specifically South Georgetown, your grand public meeting is going to be had at Turning Point tomorrow afternoon, 6 o'clock. And of course, amongst the list of speakers include, again, former Deputy Commissioner of Police, Dr. Paul Williams, attorney at law, Ronald Daniels, businessman, Saiku Andrews, Eden Corbin, yours truly. We will be at the grand public meeting at Turning Point. And again, tomorrow, Friday, is considered Super Friday, in which 3 major grand public meetings are going to be had. Region 10, Kokwani, East Bank of Demerara, Mocha Arcadia, and Turning Point in Georgetown. Saturday.
Well, I just want to add for tomorrow that the leader is going to be speaking at Mocha, and I may very well be at either Mocha or Turning Point.
You're going to be at both of them.
What?
Yes, you're going to be at both of them. And comrades, that's a frequent thing. So you may see one person being featured at one location, but that person is also featured at
another one.
Yeah, and of
that's
course,
how it goes. That's how election days go.
And of course, on Saturday, the rally for Region 5 West Coast Berbice is going to be had in the village of Hopetown. And of course, all roads lead to Hopetown Village on Saturday for the grand rally in the village of Hopetown for the West Coast Berbice. And on the east coast of Demerara on Sunday, There's going to be a grand public meeting at the village of Plaisance. And of course, that is where the presidential candidate of the APNU resides. And that grand meeting is going to be had at the Pleasance Market Square, and that is going to be had on Sunday, this Sunday coming. Mahi Paul.
Yes, well, we know tomorrow is also the day when the disciplined services will be casting their vote.
Yeah.
And I think it is fitting for us to also speak to that. We know that GCOM will be dispatching um, their staff across the country to various polling stations to facilitate the voting of the police and GDF ranks. And I will just like to take the opportunity of letting the discipline services know that the APNU stands strong with them. And we are, of course, asking them for their usual support because they know that we hold them very high. And decency is something that we would like to see returned, especially to the Guyana Police Force. We will also like to ensure that merit-based promotion
Yeah.
is given to the staff, the members of the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force, especially. We would like to see better wages and salaries. We would like to see them getting priority when it comes to the housing sector, and basically to give them a more conducive environment to function in. What these hardworking, dedicated, and committed servants of the people do is not an easy thing. Being a police officer, being a soldier, it's not easy. The training alone that you have to go through. I look at the police officers, especially those in their blue, black, and white, as they line the roadways to make traffic flow easily for us civilians. I sometimes admire how well they do it. And I have said in the National Assembly that these police officers, they deserve more money. $130,000 a month is not sufficient to pay a police officer who has to come to work at 6 in the morning and then leave at 6 in the evening. And when you come to work at 6 in the morning, your first task is to be out on the road, and you stand there in the sun or if it rains, and your job is to direct traffic. And then you have to stay with that same perspiration, sweaty clothes, and you have to stay till the afternoon and go back again at 4 o'clock to do the same thing till up until 6. And then if instructions come from up above that you have to stay in line and probably be on the road till 8, 9 o'clock, our police officers are doing an exceptional job. Our police officers in the majority are doing an exceptional job. Yes, we have the 1, 2 ranks that are doing things that are wrong, but our force has over 5,000 plus officers. I think it is moving closely to 6,000, and majority of them are doing an exceptional job. I have said it in the National Assembly, and I do believe that they deserve more money because it's really, really hard work that they have to do. Our defense force, they are faced with the border controversy we have with Venezuela, and they're working under tough conditions too, especially in our border communities, and we need to provide better for them. And we would like to assure the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force
The fire
that
service and prison.
we have the fire service also and the Guyana Prison Service, of course. But I think tomorrow majority of the voters are reference police officers and GDF officers. And we would like to assure them that we got your backs. We have your backs.
All right, so you mentioned in terms of wages and salary. I know just last week, Friday, the APNU launched its manifesto, touted one of in terms of the documents and its content. Now, speaking specifically, because we noted fear mongering um, amongst the ranks of the Ghana Police Force specifically, as well as those of the Ghana Defense Force. The government's propaganda machine has been out there saying to police officers that those persons who have just been promoted, that should the APNU become the government, they will demote you
That's
and
not
get
true.
you. Your comments on that?
That's not true. Totally untrue.
Yeah.
We will not be doing anything of the sort. What I can assure you is that we will not do what Irfan Ali did to his presidential guard, who's a police officer. What I can assure you is that we are not going to speak to the fire service the way Robeson Ben spoke to the fire service officer. What I can assure you is that we will ensure Clifton Hicken is sent home, because one of the biggest problems in the Guyana police force is Clifton Hicken. Clifton Hicken is expired. That's the first point I want to make. He's way past the age of retirement. I want to also say that he's neither certified nor qualified for the position, and he is perhaps the reason why the Guyana police force is in the state it currently finds itself. And with a competent commissioner of police, with a restored police force that focuses on service and protection and strengthening our ranks so that they can become better at what they do and stay on top of the job, the APNU will ensure that there is no political interference in the manner in which the police conduct their business.
You spoke about, well, not you rather, in the manifesto of the APNU, its first 100 days in office, specifically an area that jumped out to me: increase wages and salaries for public sector workers, teachers, nurses, and discipline forces up to 35%.
Yes.
Does this apply to those ranks who would have just been promoted as well?
Definitely. It's on a graduated scale.
Yeah.
And the higher you're paid, the highest salary you have, the lower percentage you're likely to get. And the lower salary you have, the higher percentage of increase you're likely to get. And this is in addition to the fact that we will be increasing minimum wage to 200,000 Guyana dollars.
Yeah.
So police ranks who are receiving 130,000 right now and have to pay income tax on that, I can assure you that when we take your salaries to at minimum $200,000, you will not be paying income tax on that salary, because we will also be raising the income tax threshold to $400,000. So everybody who's earning 400,000 and below will not be paying income tax with their salary. So that is all about putting more monies in the hands of, or in the pockets of our public service, which includes the Guyana Defense Force, the Guyana Police Force. But I believe, Chris, and the AP and you believe that in conjunction with these respective salary increases is the restructuring of allowances.
Yeah.
Because the public service would give you service Monday to Thursday, 8 to 4:30, and on Friday, 8 to 3:30. But police officers are asked to do more than that. Police officers and the GDF officers, fire and prison, they are all asked to do more than that. They're asked to go beyond the call of duty. They have families also, and they are our servants. They keep us protected, they keep us safe, and they play a major role in ensuring that we are able to be in a Guyana that is expected to be safe. Right now, because of the demoralized state of the Guyana police force, we are not as safe as we ought to be. And we're saying that with the removal of political instructions and directives, with the removal of political intervention in the operation of these state entities, we are likely to return to having a country that is safer for us to live in and happier for our people, so that you will not have that confrontation that you have been having with the public.
All right. So let me just, for emphasis, the APNU government, the APNU in government after September 1, based on its manifesto's promise, in its first 100 days in office, one, those police officers who have been promoted recently, those promotion remain intact.
Remain intact.
So of course, all of their salaries will be increased.
Yes.
But in addition to that, the APNU in its first 100 days will increase their salaries by 35%.
Yes.
In addition to that, this now move their wages and salary, let's say whether it's 160, 200,000, 260, 300,000, $360,000. The APNU will increase the income tax threshold to $400,000 a month, $400,000. Therefore, every single public sector worker, whether it's a policeman, a member of the Guyana Defense Force, the police force, the Guyana Fire Service, prison service, nurses, teachers, and the list
Doctors.
goes on. If you're earning 400 or $399,000 nine,
399.99
nine, and under, you pay zero tax.
PAY.
PAY. You don't pay PAY.
Yes.
That's significant.
It is significant, and it's all about putting money back into the hands of our people.
Right.
Our manifesto, our structure, our program
Mhm.
is centered around putting people first.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it is crafted from the people-centered development strategy.
Correct.
We have a people-centered development program and strategy that intends to put you first. This is all about putting you first. Guyana is at a place right now where there is fiscal space,
Yeah.
and there's the ability financially for us to invest in our people to make them really and truly empowered through finances that can give them the opportunity to live a more comfortable life. And that is why we're saying putting you first is our priority. We've always said that voting for the APNU is really voting for yourself.
Correct.
And when you vote
Correct.
for yourself, you're voting to empower you.
Mhm.
So I am saying to you, a vote for Aubrey Norton is a vote for yourself.
Yeah.
A vote for Duretta Finance is a vote for yourself. A vote for myself is a vote for yourself. A vote for Chris is a vote for yourself. Because the APNU team is all centered around empowering the ordinary, hardworking, tax-paying Guyanese.
Yeah. So essentially, it's like a turn around the ship. The ship headed in one direction, in which it's focused on infrastructure development. Mind you, we don't have an issue with infrastructure development. It is important. But at the same time, while the infrastructure development is headed in one direction, the people of Guyana, who should be the main beneficiaries of the resources of this country, are left behind.
But we have to understand that infrastructure is very important and critical.
Correct.
But in every $1, there's 30 cents that go to corruption.
Yeah.
So because corruption is so heavy in Guyana, it's so rampant
Yeah.
that the money is really being abused and used by the friends, family, and favorites of the People's Progressive Party to enrich themselves and enrich a small pocket of people to they get rich, and the ordinary people are left to the wayside. You see how when they do constructions of these roads and so now, as soon as the equipment is moving away, the road moving with the equipment.
That's right.
It's no proper infrastructure work that they're doing. We will continue to enhance communities. So I say to these small contractors, you have nothing to fear. We have to continue to engage you. And every one of those roads that were constructed by you, you will have to get another contract to build it properly with sidewalks. So you have the road there, but there is no sidewalk. There is no pavement. There is no proper drainage. So when you're developing a community and you're building proper roads, you have to cater for all of these other mechanics of the project to ensure that pedestrians have a comfortable walkway and to ensure the drainage facility is in place. So what the PPP has done by just putting a concrete road there with two sharp edges is not what constructing proper roads entail. And I am saying to the small contractors, under the APNU, there are more contracts that will be available for you to enhance, develop that very project, and be proud of it. So that you know when you take your family or friends and so on, you must tell them, I'm medium builder. So right now, how it is, you're ashamed to tell them that because of how it is. So I'm saying to you, reduction in corruption is going to be a major focus by the APNU, because every reduction to the point of eliminating corruption in Guyana enhances, advances, and put more money back in the jar so that we can be able to spend it on you, the people, for a better Guyana. Everything that we speak of is financially able and capable to achieve, because reducing corruption is going to be monumental. Getting value for money is going to be a focus. And when we talk about diversifying our economy, when we talk about getting value added products for our manufacturing sector, expanding and investing in lands, you know, opening more lands and so on. And the oil wealth is really the catalyst, because oil will come and go, Chris. But we have to ensure we build a strong Guyana, empowering our people, give them the opportunity to expand, to grow, to widen in their economic field so that they can contribute to the economy and build it strong and make it sustainable.
Excellent. All right. For those of you just joining the program, this is the APNU Elections Connection. And of course, I'm joined with the Vice Presidential candidate of the APNU, Mr. Ganesh Maipal. We just were focusing on the disciplined forces that are going to be taken to the polls tomorrow to cast their vote. And for those of you just joined us, let me just do a quick recap. We're quoting from the APNU's manifesto for these elections 2025. As articulated by Mr. Ganesh Mahipal, all of those police officers who have been recently promoted under the APNU government, those promotions will remain in place. Whether your salaries would have been increased as a result of your promotion. But what the APNU government will do is increase that amount of money even further by an additional 35% on your salaries. Plus, the APNU, based on its manifestos in its first 100 days, they will raise the income tax threshold to $400,000. Therefore, if you are a public servant, whether it's a policeman, a member of the Guyana Defense Force, the fire service, the prison service, the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, or you're a public servant working in a government ministry or agency, and you are earning $399,999 and below, you will no longer pay PAYE. You will no longer pay PAYE. In addition to that, and of course, this benefits approximately 250,000 people in Guyana.
Yes.
Right?
About 225,000.
Correct. In addition to that, in its first 100 days in office, the APNU will do its cash transfer of $100,000 to all adults. That is 18 years and above. That is in the first 100 days in office. So it is essentially a full-blown demonstration to the people of Guyana that within the first 100 days of Aubrey Norton being president of Guyana, the resources will start heading in your direction.
Yes.
In addition to the $100,000 cash transfer, and I take the term transfer to mean that public servants who receive their wages and salaries through the bank, those monies will automatically be transferred to your account.
Yes.
You don't have to go and line up in the hot sun, stand up and watch an elderly person fall to the ground. You don't have to be humiliated because the National Communications Network and DPI isn't going to turn up with a camera and stick a camera in your face and say, Ganesh, tell me what you think about this 100,000. Now, I also see here, and this is significant again, granny and grandfather. In the first 100 days, what will happen for them?
Well, the pension will be increased to $100,000. And that's because we want to see our senior citizens living a comfortable life.
Yeah.
We don't want to have our senior citizens moonlighting.
Yeah.
We don't want to know that our senior citizens have to pack up a lunch bag or a dinner bag and head out to be security guards in the night.
Yeah.
We want them to be at home with their families. We want them to enjoy their grandchildren, and we want them to have a comfortable life because they have toiled in the soil to have us where we are today. It is most unfortunate that our senior citizens are made to moonlight in the night. It's most unfortunate that they have to be working as security guards for little to no money. And sometimes they're faced with some of the harshest of conditions from the people whom they work with. And that is very important for us to understand, that senior citizens deserve a better pension because they really worked hard to put us where we are today. I wanted to speak on a matter, Chris, that I know time may be of the essence, but I wanted to speak on a matter that is not mentioned in the manifesto, but worth mentioning here, especially for our young people.
I'm actually coming to that if I think I know where you're.
Okay.
So if you allow me, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But so right there again, so the pensioners, $100,000 a month. So essentially, elections are September 1. More than likely, and I note here that the manifesto within its first 100 days, of course, speaks to the APNU's first national budget. We can very well see, or the senior citizens can very well see, by October 1, when they normally would receive their pension, they're about $100,000 thereafter every single month.
It's simple. Elections are slated for September 1st.
Yeah.
A declaration and swearing in is likely to happen, let's assume, September 3rd, 4th, thereabout, or even as far as the 5th.
Yeah.
And from the time the declaration and swearing in happens, President Norton will then appoint his cabinet. Fulfilling the manifesto promises, especially the 100-day plan, is essential and important. And all that we will need to do is to have what you call a supplementary paper that goes to the National Assembly with additional requests for finances to facilitate some of these expenses.
Correct.
Because there's already a budget in place for 2025. And after the elections, we can have a supplementary paper that caters for these increases.
Correct.
So, for example, in October, there is right now a sum of money allocated for pensioners, which is $41,000 per pensioner. That's already in this budget. So the supplementary paper I speak of that the APNU will take to the National Assembly upon assumption of office will be to cater for $60,000 as the addition per person multiplied by the total number of pensioners. And that is going to give you the sum that we are going to request from the National Assembly for old age pension.
An addition $59,000.
Yes, because it's 41,000, I think, is the pension right now. But the idea is to get it there for you in October. So from October 1st, you will be collecting your first ever $100,000 as a pensioner. And as we do it for October and November and December, we will also be crafting a method or a manner in which you could be receiving this money at the comfort of your home, as opposed to having you going to line up at the post office in the hot sun. Sometimes, you know, you have to exert so many energy from your body to just facilitate collecting a little pittance. So we can also look at that as within the 3 months period. And at the same time, we'll be crafting our first people-centered development budget that will come out very early in the new year. And if possible, you could very well get it in December. So you could begin the new year in January, start off the bat of delivering on the other promises.
Excellent. You know, so on the campaign trail, I've often been, in my speaking engagement, I've often been saying to people out there that I know that there is a debate in almost every household across this country at the end of the week, a fortnight, or the end of the month, whether it's between a husband and wife, partners, or child mother, children mother, whatever the case be. And that debate is, I've received my salary, the wife or the husband received his salary, and you're now putting these monies together and you're trying to determine what is priority. Should we pay rent today or pay it next week? Should we pay GPL now or wait? Or do we have to repair this house? Or you need to go to the doctor to look after your teeth, or whatever the case be. There's always a debate. So, of course, we see within the first 100 days, with these increases of wages and salaries to public servants, almost 250,000 people increasing their wages and salary by 35%, plus removing the PAYE if they earn under $400,000 a month. And in addition to that, the manifesto also speaks to the $100,000 cash grant to all adults, and that is 18 years and above, within the first 100 days.
Yeah, and that's going to happen before Christmas so that they can get a good Christmas.
Definitely. But then I come to this one. So this is the debate in the household. with parents, husband, wife, and they're the children. And these children are attending Technical Institute or the University of Guyana. And I see here that the APNU will pay students in the Tertiary and Technical Institute a stipend of $50,000 every single month.
Yeah, that is to assist our children who will be between the ages really of, and the majority of them will be between the ages of 16 to 19,
Right,
thereabout,
right.
because majority of those people, as soon as they finish secondary school,
They go
they
on.
either move to GTI
Yeah.
or Escribo Technical Institute, Linden Technical Institute,
Yeah.
Carnegie School of Home Economics, New Amsterdam Technical Institute, University of Guyana, and so on. So this is to assist them with the expense of traveling,
Yeah.
of getting their clothes, of getting their handouts, their other material, and so on.
Yeah.
So it really eases the
Yeah.
burden that one faces
Yeah.
when they really go to these additional learning institutions to better themselves and qualify themselves to become better individuals.
And Ganesh, so sorry to bring you back here. This is a significant sum. I have a student child. He or she goes to GTI or GITC, or they are at the University of Ghana, and every day they have their own challenges to get transportation.
Yeah.
Every month, an APNU government will give to your child $50,000 a month.
Yeah, it's
That
part of
remove that burden from parent. You don't even,
yeah.
if the child doesn't have to come to you and say, "Mommy, I got to buy books. Mommy, we got to go on a school tour." They have their little stipend
Chris,
that they can take care of themselves.
I understand the importance of such a measure, because I can tell you, I was a scholarship student at the university, and the company that sponsored me used to give me $40,000 every month. And that $40,000 was a significant help
Correct.
in terms of us getting our handouts, in terms of us getting our meals and buying some better things to eat and so on. Coming from Essequibo, living in the dormitory, my parents, all they had to do was to pay the dormitory cost,
Yeah.
because the tuition was covered by the company and this $40,000. So when we put that in there, it wasn't something that was plucked from
Out of
the
the
air. It was
exactly,
well
exactly.
studied,
Yeah.
understood, and know that it can happen.
Yeah.
And I know what it is like at 17 years old to have $40,000 a month and make it work to
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
your life and your
Yeah.
academic studies and so on. So we're saying $50,000 will be a great addition to the young people in making it possible for them.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen. You and I foresee as well. It will increase the student population at those
Definitely. And
institutions.
it will force the government to also invest in building more modernized
Correct.
and spacious technical institute and vocational training centers. The idea behind it has to do with improving education in our people's, in our society. Now, when I say education, I'm not just talking about maths, English, social studies, science.
Yeah.
Education covers a wider array of training. A good carpenter, a good mason, a good technician, a good chef.
Yeah.
Name the technical skills that is available out there. People can actually go and qualify themselves. Lifting your educational standard is lifting the country by itself and making our people a happier people, making our country a safer country, making us a better people requires us investing in our education system and our education goals.
Yeah.
So it does not only mean the University of Guyana,
Correct.
where you can get a degree or a master's or a PhD in some field, but it also encompasses the technical and vocational training centers where somebody who believe that they are not good in academics, they can go to a technical institution and come out as one of the best carpenters there can be in our country, or the best mason, or the best electrician. If you have people that are only qualifying themselves in psychology, geology, chemistry, physics, biology, engineering, and so on, who will do the electrical work for us to
Exactly.
get good
Exactly.
electricity? Who's
Exactly.
going to do the construction of the homes? Who's going to sew the clothes? Who's going to cook the good food? You have to have people that can branch off into their respective fields. You have to have a conducive environment where people can actually do what they like and then qualify themselves and
Yeah.
make money
Yeah. Yeah.
and make money.
And those are the field of studies that actually make money. You go to the
Yeah.
United
So
States, if you are any one of those
yeah,
above.
you have your degree in whatever you have your degree in. I have my degree in whatever I have my degree in. We have to pay somebody
Yeah,
to cook us good food.
exactly.
We got to pay somebody
Exactly.
to run the electricity in our houses. We got
Mhm.
to pay somebody to come and do the guttering, to build and those are technical skills, Chris.
Correct.
I don't have
Correct.
them. I don't think you have them.
I went to TI. You went to TI. It's like
But the
electrical
point I'm making,
installation.
yeah, but the point I'm making is that give the young people a conducive environment
Yeah.
to grow.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you will reduce crime, you will reduce social issues, you will
That's what I was
reduce
coming to.
several issues society is faced with
Yeah.
happens because the young people in particular
Mhm.
don't have the opportunity to go and exert their energies elsewhere.
Yeah.
Can you think about a modernized and several modernized sporting facilities where you can have people wanting to go and become what do you call it, the people who run an athlete,
Outlet.
wanting to become a footballer, wanting to become a cricketer, wanting to become a rugby player. You have to give them the facilities for them to do it. But not only the facilities, you have to give them the assurance that they will be taken care of. And that's why in our manifesto also, we talk about insurance for our athletes, especially those that will represent us as a country. You got to take care of them. You have in certain countries where athletics is really a job.
Yeah.
So you are paid to train to run, to train to do whatever you have to do in the field of athletics,
Yeah.
and you are guaranteed protection by way of
Yeah.
insurance in terms of your body safety,
Yeah.
and also you're guaranteed a pension after you would have put us on the world map, recognizing us as a country. Those are things that you got to do to lift your people
Correct.
out of the miseries they find themselves in.
And some
And countries that do that, look at their happy index. When you look
that's
at
what
the
I'm
happy
coming to.
index of countries that invest in their people, you get to see the returns. Australia, you look at Australia, it's one. I had the opportunity of being in Australia
You wanted to
and
stay.
I wanted to stay. You know that I called you, I said, Chris, can't I stay here? And it is so beautiful. Sydney, Australia is so beautiful. And then you have other countries that invest in their athletes,
Yeah.
and their young people. We gotta invest in our people. That's the
No,
focus.
but you hit the nail on the head. Because when you mentioned about social ills and so forth, we've had a very and still continue to have a high percentage of domestic violence in the household. And when you check to see the source of where this is coming from, it has a lot to do with the pressures on parents or the adult in the house to make ends meet. And that's why I'm saying is that these measures that an APNU government will implement in its first 100 days, which will work to alleviate some of those same social ills that we have in society. No longer a father has to stress with the wife that Cheyenne making the money reach because his salary is going to be increased.
Yeah.
No longer they have to go through the stress of the border to find money for the children, books and them thing. And this girl are making sense and this boy don't study. They are getting their stipend.
Exactly.
It is clear that you also spoke in the manifesto. And this is an addition. And just let me quickly recap for those who just joined the program. I'm joined by Vice Presidential Candidate of the APNU, Mr. Ganesh Mahipal. And we started off discussing the discipline forces that are going to go to the polls tomorrow to cast their votes. And of course, we asked them to hold that line because, as Ganesh mentioned, as we've been mentioning on the campaign trail, when you vote tomorrow, August the 22nd, if you're a member of the discipline forces, or if you vote on September 1, you're not voting for us. You are voting for yourself. You are voting for your children or your grandchildren. You are voting for your future. And the APNU, in its manifesto, as stated, is one of the easiest. It is the most comprehensive manifesto in these elections. And in this document, it speaks to its first 100 days in office. If you were a policeman, a policeman or woman who was just promoted, those promotions remain in place. But in addition to that, the APNU will increase that promotion that you got in terms of its money, will increase it by 35%. And as well, within the first 100 days, the APNU government will do its cash transfer directly into your bank account of $100,000. In addition to that, with your salary going up, the APNU is taking the income tax threshold to $400,000 a month. So if you earn under that, you no longer pay PAYE. If you have a child or a couple children with your children, mother, child, father, your husband, or your wife, and they attend GTI, GITC, Carnegie School of Home Economics, the University of Guyana, and so forth, just to name a few, the APNU government will give them every single month a stipend of $50,000. That child, your child who is in school and studying, they can buy their books, they could travel to school, they could buy their lunch, whatever. You don't have to worry about that as a parent. So you get more money to focus on your own development, your health, because that is a serious issue. And we'll get to that maybe not on today's program. But Ganesh, it is not by accident. I know we've had this discussion. Ganesh is smiling. I know it was not by accident. When I spoke with presidential candidate Aubrey Norton, yourself, and Prime Minister Jurito about not including everything in your manifesto, because we know what happens. The APNU has been putting out information for months what it intends to do in its manifesto. And as fast as we put it out, 2 morning after you see here from Ali on TV talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like I heard last week, Friday, when we put out the manifesto, that all of a sudden some students at GTI were given a stipend of $35,000. All of a sudden, because it's in our manifesto. So we did not include everything here. And the reason why is that we wanted to ensure that the PPP put out their document so they can't go and do no edit and paste. So we did that. This is about one of the crown jewels that the APNU had in its arsenal. And the presidential candidate, while it left them a few days ago, he put this information out there. Share with the public, Ganesh Mahipal. In addition to all that I've mentioned, those young people, those people who were called by the ministry just a few days ago, come to the Building Expo, bring $400,000, bring $600,000, and people scraping to find that money. And many of those who paid monies last year at the Building Expo are yet to see the land. Yeah. They have no idea where the land is, but they don't pay the money. Tell us what the APNU stated by the presidential candidate. For obvious reasons, we did not put it in this document. Go ahead.
So let me start by first saying that right now, for an individual to apply for a house lot from the government, they have to be 21 years of age. We are going to remove that from being 21 years old, and we will be putting it to 18 years old. Yeah. And that is something that I want you to understand. So you can apply for a house lot as soon as you're 18 years old on an APNU government. If you're old enough to vote and you're old enough to work,
And
then you're
drive.
old enough to own your own home.
Exactly.
And we can't be coming to you asking you for your vote, and then we don't we don't give you the opportunity to own your own home. So it was very foolish of the People's Progressive Party to have that age at 21. We're going to bring it to 18 years old. Additionally, we know that the low coastal plain is threatened by the Atlantic Ocean,
Yes.
and a lot of people are still in the low coastal plain. We wanted to invest in opening lands going further up into our country. So, like for Georgetown and Region 4, we're talking about slowly moving into the higher regions. So, we have to open out land space there, create roads, bridges, electrification, water supply, and the basic amenities. That also has to happen in regions 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and we go for the inland. Our investment in housing will be to open those lands and make them available for persons who are 18 years and older. And if you are an applicant, a first-time applicant in the for a housing lot in through the government system, and you earn below $400,000, you will get a house lot free of cost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Free of cost.
Yes, sir.
Why is that so? That is so because we have to prepare our people for them to invest in their own economic activities. We have to open out our lands so that our people can begin to occupy, and then they can also get into their small businesses and so on, and create niche markets around the various different regions. It's all about expanding, it's all about creating opportunities,
Correct.
and it's all about giving the people, primarily the young people who are 18 and above, the opportunity for them to put their money into their lands. Guyana is a big country when it compares to its population, and everybody in this country can get a piece of land free of cost.
Exactly.
So instead of us asking you for $1.2 million to pay for a piece of land that is very swampy, or perhaps it's not even proper for you to do anything on, you can use that $1.2 million and build your land to your likeness. You can put down a foundation, you can build a curb wall, you can fence the property, and you can begin to see your way in terms of home ownership. We should not be selling land in this country. We should be giving our people lands so that they can move ahead to invest, they can move ahead to construct, and they can move ahead to build themselves economically. That's a monumental move by the APNU, and we assure you that the investment that we will put into this country to make those lands available, to spread our population across the country, and to basically guard against any operations that may not allow it to happen, we will ensure it is done properly. That is one that is very, very important. But Chris, I don't want to lose this either. Another one that we are looking at, that we are crunching the numbers and we are also working out the details.
You know, Irfan, they're listening, right? So just careful if you throw
Yeah, yeah, that is thief.
Exactly.
That is real
Exactly.
thief. Irfan them the thief, the corrupt, the wicked, the stink, the dirty. All you could put in one, and all they're doing is filling their own pockets, you know. And a clique of people around them, they're making them rich people, and at the expense of the poor people. Look at it. A person is working for $100,000. Under the PPP, they're giving that person 10%. So that person getting $10,000 alone on their salary.
Correct.
So that person will get $110,000. And they're getting $1 million. And they're taking the 10% too, you know. And they're gonna get $100,000.
So they get
more.
$1.1 million.
What that does is that it broadens widens the gap that exists
Exactly.
between the rich and the
Exactly.
poor. They're
Exactly.
making themselves richer and they're making the
God,
ordinary people poorer.
mercy.
These people are
I'm
merciless.
telling you.
Now, let me say what I was about to say.
Mm.
We are also looking to bring down the age for old age pension
That's
from
the one.
65 to 60.
That's the one.
We believe that we're still crunching the numbers
Yeah.
and we're still working it out, but we believe it's possible
Yeah.
for us to bring down the age of old age pension from 65
Yeah.
to 60 years.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, we're also looking to increase the age of retirement from 55 to 60. So when you come off of retirement, you move into collecting your old age pension.
$100,000 a month. My
$100,000, of
God.
course. Right now, 55 is the mandatory age of retirement
Yeah.
from your work. We're going to make it optional.
But
So
Hickens is
if
not
you
55.
choose, huh?
Hickens is not 55.
Higgins is 60 something.
Okay, so just
Yeah,
carry on.
I told you it's expired.
Carry
So
on.
55 is the age of retirement right now. Right now, we're going to make it optional for you to work until 60. Nowadays, you look at some of them 55-year-old people and they look younger than me,
Exactly.
right? And some
Exactly.
of them don't even have the amount of gray hairs like what I have.
Mhm,
So for example, I saw a teacher from St. Stanislaus, and she told me she has been teaching for 33 years.
mhm.
I said, Miss, you look like you're 33. You look young, young, young.
There we go.
So majority of the people nowadays, you look at them at 55, they still have energy. They still have that zeal and zest to give to country. And because of that,
Yeah.
it becomes optional for you to work until you're 60.
Okay.
And when you are finished at
As an
60,
option.
as an option. And
Yeah.
when you're finished at 60, you can very well step into receiving your old age pension, even though you wouldn't be looking old. Your ID card gonna carry the details and make you entitled to your
But
so it's all about not having that gap
mhm.
and not and why you don't want the gap, because the gap creates the avenue for people to go moonlighting.
Right.
The gap creates the
Right.
opportunity for these people to go now
Right.
and work in the nights as security
Yeah.
guards. And the
Yeah.
NIS pension scheme is also problematic.
Mhm.
The People's Progressive Party has destroyed the NIS pension scheme.
It's even
NIS was a creature of Forbes Barnum,
Mhm.
created to benefit people as a safeguard
Mhm.
in their older age as they pay NIS whilst working,
Yeah.
so that they can get back returns.
Yeah.
We have to overhaul that entire system,
Yeah.
relook at it in such a way where maximum benefit can come out for
Mhm.
people who have paid their
Mhm.
NIS and deserve their pension.
Yeah.
So when you come off from work, what we want you to have is your government pension if you're a government worker,
Mhm.
your NIS pension, and your old age pension.
Yeah.
That will accumulate to a livable wage where you can spend the time enjoying your family. And as I
Exactly.
said, happy people equals happy family
Yep.
equals happy
Yep.
country.
Yep.
And
Yep.
happy people, happy family, happy country means a reduction in crime,
Yes,
a
sir.
reduction in social
That's
issues,
right.
and our happy index
Exactly.
goes up.
That's right. No, listen, you've touched on so much, and there's still more to go. There is still more to go. In the APNU manifesto, it speaks to, and this is oh my God, mercy. Everybody. No, I'm laughing, I'm smiling because if you have an opportunity to read this document, and
Yeah,
which
it's a
it's
fantastic
being
document.
shared and so forth, it
And people can message us, those of you who
correct, and we will
can
send you
reach
the
out to
soft
us, and we
copies.
can send you the
We'll
soft
send you
copy
the
of it.
soft copies. It speaks here about the implement urgent costs of living relief measures, such as 2 hot meals a day and more than double the social assistance, school vouchers, family assistance, disability allowance, etc., etc., etc.
Chris, it's all about putting monies into the hands of our people. It is all about making life easier for our people. It's all about uplifting their quality of life, their
God,
standard of life. It's all
God.
about empowering, educating, entertaining, energizing, and all the other E's you could think about to put our people on a positive trajectory so that our country's posture,
Mhm.
our country's presence must be lifted, and we can remove ourselves from the nightmare we find ourselves in. And all of this can happen once we first remove the corrupt People's Progressive
Exactly.
Party from
Exactly.
government. We reduce corruption in its totality to the point of complete removal,
Mhm.
and we ensure that we maintain ourselves
Yeah.
as clean as possible.
Yes.
So, how do we intend to ensure we address corruption?
Mhm.
This is something I am very passionate about. And that is why you cannot have a government elected by 51% of the population and 49% of the population excluded.
Yeah.
So that is why we are saying on every state board, on every commission, on every functioning board of government, the opposition must have a presence.
Mhm.
Their presence is important because they will help to keep the government in check.
Mhm.
Their presence will be to safeguard and to watch and to have that oversight so that they can hold government accountable, because we do not intend to do anything like what the PPP is doing by way of destroying our country through corrupt practices,
Yeah.
through enriching their friends, families, and favorite. And
Mhm.
we were all warned already that if any one of us in an Aubrey Compton Norton's government go down the road of being involved in corruption and there is credible evidence to show it,
Yeah.
then we will be kicked out and face
The
the
full brunt of the law.
full music
Yeah.
for our
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, so we're still going through. For those person, and we're almost up program time, and of course, this program is a daily program, all the way into elections day, and of course, we will be sharing with you the time slots when this program is come up will come on, and of course, we go through the manifesto of the APNU. We will share on our social media platform in another 10 or 15 minutes what's a mobile number that you can simply just send a message, and we will send you the electronic copy
Of the
of the
manifesto.
manifesto. If you currently have any of the mobile numbers for us here, you can simply request a copy and they will make that available to you. But just before we leave, for those persons receiving public assistance, we'll stop here, and of course we'll continue in a subsequent program. What is going to happen with those
Well,
persons?
we'll
Because we have
double that.
so
It's as simple as in within the 100-day plan, we will
yeah,
double the public assistance.
yeah,
And whilst we double it through the very supplementary budgetary allocation,
yes,
we will also look to increase
yes,
it further as we
yes.
put our people-centered budget in place.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so I'll give Ganesh an opportunity to make one more pitch to those members of the discipline forces who will be voting tomorrow, and of course, we encourage you, because your family members are the members of the Ghana Police Force and the Ghana Defense Force, that you urge them to cast their vote for the APNU. Mr. Mahi Paul.
Well, all I will say is vote sensibly.
Yeah.
Vote to restore dignity,
Yes.
integrity, and
Yes.
loyalty
Oh my
to the
God.
Guyana Police Force,
Wow.
to the Guyana Defense Force, the Guyana Prison Service, and the Guyana Fire Service. Vote to have politicians that will set policies
Yes.
and not politicians to interfere
Yes.
with your operations. Vote for politicians who will put policies above operations. You will have your technical people who is going to be the head of the fire service, the head of the prison service, the head of the police force, the head of the GDF. They will be responsible for the technical operations. They will be responsible for the execution. They will be responsible for the moral upliftment. Your government, the APNU, will be setting the policies, will be providing the resources, and will be ensuring that you have a conducive environment to function under. Vote for the palm of the hand. Don't vote fuck up.
Excellent. All right. So quickly before I go, I do a quick recap. I'll ask the operator to show us how much the People's Progressive Party Civic love the members of the discipline forces. This is what just some of them went through in the last couple of months, and no less of a person than the head of state. Take a look at these.
designated to that here tonight. So persons who are unemployed and looking to become employed, they can come down here to the Providence National Stadium, booth designated to that here tonight. So persons who are unemployed and looking to become employed, they can come down here to the Providence National Stadium and they
commander does not require of the subordinates the relevant resort and present when we fight in fire. And there's simple things other than the people crowding in, and you watch at that building. Watch at that building. I don't know if the fire chief has told you what the order will be now. And since y'all will run out the rain, I'm going to change the uniform y'all is wearing. Looking like it's too much office uniform. You will change the type of uniform you will wear. You want the fire, so your fire has to deal with the outing of fires and the rescuing of people who are in difficulty. And if y'all is the first people to run at the officer level, no use to you. No use to you. The posture must change from where we come and there's a fire, we let the building burn, we must go and fight the fire. And the posture, I don't want no umbrella. And then rain has not killed me all the years I've been here. The posture must change.
Right. So
Let me tell you something.
Go
You
ahead.
see, if it was one of me family here from the pull like that, I think I would have been in jail.
Yeah.
It is so disrespectful, so uncouth, so unethical. Look at how Irfan just pulled at that young man who is a presidential guard, a member of the Guyana police force. That is the level of disrespect that he has done as a head of state. And then you got a clown named Robeson Ben who never went through any training for do it fire outing and fire prevention and the like, and he seems to believe as though he knows how that should be done. The People's Progressive Party has no regard and respect for people of this country, no regard and respect for professionals. Our fire service men and women, our GDF men and women, our police men and women, they deserve way better than these clowns we have in there.
They believe that people are not aware in terms of what is happening. The People's Progressive Party has been in office for 5 years. All the time you had these officers that you didn't know that they had to been promoted.
Exactly.
And they believe that they can hoodwink the members of the discipline forces not to believe that this is an election gimmick, that only because we want your vote is why we promote you.
Yeah, it's a vote buying mechanism.
All right.
Well, I
go ahead.
I call it a political girl call, right? A political girl call.
Yes. Exactly. All right, viewers. I've been sharing the last 60 minutes with the vice presidential candidate of the APNU, Mr. Ganesh Mahipal. And of course, we thank you for viewing today's program. But a quick recap, we were going through parts of the APNU's manifesto, dubbed easily one of the most comprehensive manifestos in the 2025 general and regional elections. And of course, just to stress the point, for those members of the discipline forces that are going to be casting their votes tomorrow, the APNU in government is guaranteeing you that those promotions that you have received, you will keep those promotions. You will retain those promotions. But in addition to your promotion and the increase in your wages and salary as a result of being promoted, the APNU in government in its first 100 days in office will increase that amount by 35%. Wanting to ensure that we bring more relief to you is that the APNU within its first 100 days in office will increase the income tax threshold to $400,000. So if you have been promoted and received this 35% increase in your wages and salary and you earn $400,000 and under, you will no longer pay the PAYE. In addition to that, within its first 100 days in office, the APNU is going to do the cash transfer to all adults, that is people 18 years and above, of $100,000 is going to be transferred to those who have their bank accounts directly to them, and an arrangement will be in place for those who will have to pick up their monies. For those parents who are struggling currently as public servants in the APNU's government, if you have a child that is attending a tertiary institution or the University of Guyana, the APNU, within its first 100 days in office, will make an allocation to each and every child that is attending a tertiary or the University of Guyana, a stipend of $50,000 every single month. If you are a pensioner, the APNU in government, in its first 100 days in office, you will receive an increase in your old age pension to $100,000 a month. And the list goes on. We spoke about public assistance being doubled and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you but a mouthful. In a couple of minutes, we will post on our social media platform a mobile number in which you can just send a request, and we will send you the electronic version of our manifesto. We will meet again tomorrow, and the program continues. This has been a program, the APNU Connect, or Connect, the Campaign Connect with Chris Jones, and of course my guest with me is Mr. Ganesh Mahipal, Vice Presidential Candidate of the APNU. For those of you who are following the APNU's public meetings, let me just give you a quick rundown in terms of what is happening today. Georgetown, there is a public meeting that is going to be had at the corners of Leopold and Cross Street. That meeting commences at 6 o'clock this afternoon. I will be a featured speaker there, along with colleagues Philip Drayton, retired former Deputy Commissioner of Police, Dr. Paul Williams, Attorney at Law Ronald Daniels. For those of you on the east bank of Demerara, there's a public meeting that is going to be had in the village of Agricola at 2nd Street, and that meeting commences at 6 o'clock this afternoon. One of the featured speakers include Mr. Eden Corbin, Vice Presidential Candidate Mr. Ganesh Mahipal, Attorney at Law Dexter Todd, just to name a few. They will be at that public meeting this afternoon in Agricola. Tomorrow is what we dub Super Friday. There will be 3 grand rallies, or 3 grand public meetings rather, that is going to be happening. The first is going to be happening in Region 10 in Kokwani. That meeting is going to be had at the basketball court. It starts at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Amongst the list of speakers include Regional Chairman Mr. Darren Adams, His Worship the Mayor of Linden, Mr. Sharma Solomon, Mr. Darren Wade, Attorney at Law, and of course the Prime Ministerial candidate Jurita Fernandez will be there in Kokwani, as well as Mr. Rupert Ricky Ramsru will be one of the speakers in Georgetown, South Georgetown to be specific, Turning Point. Tomorrow, Friday, there will be a grand public meeting at Turning Point, and the list of speakers include Edith Corbin, businessman Saiku Andrews, yours truly will be speaking there, retired Deputy Commissioner of Police, Dr. Paul Williams, Attorney at Law, Dr. Dexter Todd, the Deputy Mayor of Georgetown, Denise Miller, she's going to be a featured speaker there. For those of you on the east bank of Demerara, tomorrow there will be a grand public meeting, and that meeting is going to be had in the village of Moka. Moka Main Road, it starts at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Amongst the featured speakers include presidential candidate of the APNU, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton. He will be there in the village of Moka tomorrow at that grand public meeting. On Saturday, that is Saturday coming, the 23rd day of August, all roads lead to West Coast Berbice in the village of Hopetown. Hopetown Region 5, your rally is going to be happening this Saturday, the 23rd of August, in the village of Hopetown. For those of you on the east coast of Demerara, in the village of Pleasance, on Sunday, that is Sunday coming, there will be a grand public meeting in the village of Pleasance, and of course at the Market Square. And of course, amongst the list of speakers include presidential candidate of the APNU, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton. Again, on behalf of my colleague, Mr. Ganesh Mahipal, Vice Presidential Candidate of the APNU, my name is Christopher Jones. Thanking you very much for viewing the first in a series of engagements. This has been the Campaign Connect with Christopher Jones. On behalf of all of us, have a pleasant rest of your afternoon. Goodbye for now.